The book of Ezra. You heard it right. Ezra. Old Testament. Ezra.
I like that name.
Hello and welcome back to the Croak and Crow podcast. I am Spencer Cartier.
I am a dame.
A dame? And this here is a Notre Dame Frank. Frank wearing his Notre Dame jacket. I don't follow college at all. Sports.
No, not at all.
Not even in the slightest. Someone told me the other day, they said Penn State lost pretty bad. And I said, did they now?
You didn't even see the huge, was it Tennessee-Alabama game where they took the goalpost down and threw it in the river?
I saw that.
Well, they carried it around for a while.
Is that a normal thing?
No, they never won. I mean, okay, don't quote me because I know less than you do. From what I heard, they're rivals. How could they be rivals if they've been? I don't think. Who won? Tennessee? Yeah, I think Tennessee won, and they hadn't won. But this was my confusion. So maybe someone could set me straight. I heard that they hadn't won, and it wasn't even an important game to.
That's why I thought. I feel like we're not even in the time of the year where like.
It's just they were so happy to win.
Bowls.
But this was my confusion. The stadium was filled with the fans as if it was the Super Bowl, and they all had on red, so I guess that's their color. And then did you see the referees running?
Trying to get off before the field was rushed
at the last field because they knew what would happen. They took down the thing, but I said, wow, if they never win and it wasn't an important game, why was it filled to capacity and people in red? But that's that whole Roll Tide part of the country.
Yeah, no, I think like I don't even know the schools that are playing, but just because you don't win doesn't mean that you don't have passionate fans. Mm-hmm. And I can that was what makes it so exciting. It's that the stadium's always filled, and you can still have a rivalry, right? Like there's rivalries where the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers are rivals. The Green Bay Packers bust their butts every time they play. I think Aaron Rodgers is like 17-3 of wins and losses.
Yeah.
So if they beat them, it's like, haha.
Right.
It's like you're gonna beat us regardless.
Right.
So if we beat you, that is the craziest thing. It's like a rivalry in a not back and forth way. A rivalry in a they beat us every time they come around way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
My other thing about it is, so obviously the goalposts being taken down were not sanctioned, right? Like
it wasn't sanctioned, but I heard it through the grapevine that it was expected because they did it before. But like, okay. I think a really long time ago. I saw it coming down, and like it, I wouldn't even know how to take. Like, I thought they were cemented in. I thought it was going to hit everybody on the head.
Well, that's the video I watched. Maybe I'll have it playing without audio as we speak. It seems to be like being lowered, like as if they're like in basketball they like physically lower them, or like because they raise them, lower them. It didn't seem like push it down.
Well, with enough people, you can build a pyramid. So if they were all working in unison, I don't suggest it.
No,
I don't really know that story.
I don't know it either. Someone does.
Yeah, I didn't know lots of stuff. Like yesterday, I didn't know that it was the 19th. I said it was the 18th.
I thought you weren't going to bring it up.
I misled everybody. That's fine because I knew that ECE was on Tuesday and you need it to be celebrated.
Yeah, I mean, it's an important holiday. And it's almost unfortunate that we didn't podcast on the 18th.
Right.
So this way it gives the appreciation to the few days that we missed.
Right.
Had we known, we still would have talked about it. The entire podcast, we would have just said yesterday. Right. This way it is today.
So we don't have the 19th, but who cares? Nobody likes 19.
No.
Your 18th birthday is big. Your 20th birthday is big. Who cares about being 19? No, you don't get nothing.
There's a few numbers and ages that I do think are just irrelevant. Mm-hmm. 17's one. 17's irrelevant. 19.
NC 17. Yeah, does that even exist? Yeah.
No, that's the thing. It's the reason why it's such a weird thing. It's like, wait, what? Like it's too old. It's too young. 21's pretty cool. 22. I I'm gonna take away 22, and I'm gonna tell you why. I feel like odd numbers take the brunt of getting rid of. Mm-hmm. You get rid of the 17, you get rid of the 19.
Well, you wouldn't get rid of the 25.
You want to get rid of the 25. Well, I'm saying most. Like you got to think of but there are a few. I want to take away some of these even numbers. Never mind. I can't get rid of 22 because it is divisible by 11. My favorite number.
I was thinking that. I was like, what's he doing?
All right, 21 school, 22. Love it. 22. 23, my favorite number. I'll get rid of 24.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll get rid of 24. 24 is pointless. 25, quarter of a century. 26. I'm 26 now. I'll get rid of it. I'll tell you why. 25, quarter.
Well, we have 26 letters in the alphabet. We need that.
You know what's funny? People always say 25, and they're like, "Oh, you're having your quarter life crisis."
Yeah.
50, you're saying you're having your midlife crisis. I'm like, that's bold of you to assume that the person's going to live to 100.
It's not bold. It's what's the word?
I think if you looked at the statistics, at 19, you should be having. This is
not the place.
At 19, you should be having a quarter life crisis.
No, stop it.
No. 30,
Actually,
39 and a half, you should be having your
we learned yesterday
midlife crisis
on DEXA that's not it. DEXA scale day that these supercomputers are going to make us live to be 100 easily.
Or get rid of us. And while we're still on the numbers, it's funny because I was just thinking about this before I left work. I work at a small school, small kids. They're about
How do you get in?
Small doors. And someone came in doing a tour, and we were talking, and they were like, "Oh, how old is your kid?" They're like, "Oh, 28 months." And now that I'm at this school, I am no longer against saying months up to 36 months.
Okay.
Because the differences are crazy. We have 3 different classes. We're just in the 2 to 3 realm, which are if you were saying the ages, they should all be in the same class.
Right.
But so much changes in those small periods of time. And so then I thought about it, and I was thinking, where do all these cutoffs happen? Up to maybe 4, it matters by the month.
Okay.
4 to
5.
4 to 5. No, the next segment is.
Oh, I meant years. But you're going to hold steady kind of through 4.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be a new kid at 5.
And then you're going to say specific years.
Yeah.
My question is, when does it turn to he's in his, and give a whole decade?
80s.
I don't think so. Because you can't say, how old was that guy? He was in his 20s. 21, 29 is a big difference.
I
30,
know.
30, I'm almost pushing 30. 39, I think it's 40s. That's I think 40s.
I don't even know the answer. I mean, I don't even know the question. I thought you were saying, when can you vaguely say people? Yeah. And I was going to say 80s.
Really? You'd go that far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do see what you're saying. Absolutely. Who would deny that?
Yeah.
A 21-year-old is way different than a 29-year-old.
But so now we're going up one. All right. But is a 30-year-old different than a 39?
Nah, they're all the same. They're the same until you get into your 90s.
In your generation. No, but you think about it. 30 is the new 25.
They act 25, but they're not. They're not dangerous. A 21-year-old's dangerous.
Yeah,
I don't want you operating on me. But a 30-year-old.
No, but it's a bell curve, right? Obviously, a 10-year-old and a 20-year-old is a bigger difference than a 20-year-old and a 30-year-old. And so you have to say, when can you start generalizing people?
30s.
I don't think so. I think if you're
talk about having high hopes. A 39-year-old is no more mature than a 30-year-old at all.
No, that's what wait, what? No, they are. Well, okay, well, that's fine. What I'm saying is this. If I started dating a girl and I said, "Oh, she's in her 30s." Obviously, you would say that if it was mid 30s. But you would be 30, she's 4 years older than me. 39, she's 13 years older than me.
Do you have something to tell me?
I'm dating a 39-year-old. I truly think it's the 40s when you start saying, "I'm in my 40s." I'm in my 30s? You say that at 30? No way. All right, let's move on.
It's international. I give you the international days. You give me the national days.
I give you the names.
Yeah, Yeah, I know. International Day of the Air Traffic Controller.
One of the, if not the most stressful jobs in the world.
It's stressful, but go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
If you want to have a little laugh, go on YouTube, which you might be already if you're watching us. Kennedy, Steve, and Boston John, and I'm guessing they're not. I'm guessing they're their handles.
Yeah.
Kennedy, Steve, and Boston John. They're not together, but they're two very funny air traffic controllers. I think they've retired at this point.
And they really just talk funny in the airplanes.
Yeah, a lot of people have made videos of their audio. I think Kennedy, Steve, people. the people in the know, they would know when he was working, and they would just listen because
he'd work at what? Like he worked at JFK.
Yeah, I guess Kennedy. Steve. Yeah.
Huh. I like that. I wonder if there were some cranky pilots that were like, Kennedy Steve's here.
Always.
That's good, especially in such a stressful job. It's fun. It's fun to find these lighthearted people. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why is air traffic controllers the most stressful job, but dentists are the most suicidal?
Do we have proof that that's a true story?
Which part?
That dentists are the most suicidal.
You're the one who told me that.
Don't ever.
An earlier podcast. I think it was a dentist podcast.
Don't ever go by me. No, I do still believe it, but I don't have proof on it. Why? Maybe because dentists work alone and they just feel so upset because the only people around them, they're digging in their mouth with a piece of metal, but the air traffic controllers are probably like talking to the pilot, talking to their friends, and they're getting,
No, it's wrong.
Fun and
I think I have it figured out.
Okay, then.
It might be part of what you're saying of the isolation. Dentists go through as much school as doctors do.
Yeah.
But there'll always be a dentist. So one, you have that like what got them to be a dentist. Like there's probably a large portion that were pushed into having a successful career path.
Right.
But then you're a doctor. Dentists get their doctorate in dentistry. Yet you're always a dentist.
Yeah.
And alone.
I want to be a dentist.
Working as a dentist. Would you ever be an air traffic controller?
No.
Because of the stress?
I wouldn't be the dispatcher for a plumbing company, let alone the dispatcher, the kid, I wouldn't be the guy in the street with the stop.
You just don't even want to be
I wouldn't be
anywhere.
A flagger.
You want to be a ticket collector. You don't want anything to do with the airport.
No, that's not the scary part. Why would I not want to be a ticket collector?
You don't want to be this guy.
Because if
you tell them the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, I said I would be this before, and when I was this, I wasn't at the airport anymore. I was like a crossing guard or something.
Oh, I thought you had the orange sticks.
I know, I was acting like that. No, a flagger, like he stands there and says,
"You know what I want to be," and then I'll get back to your thing. I want to be that in the Air Force or the Navy, because I feel like they
on
the cargo ships.
No, there's not a cargo ship.
Or the air.
How can this happen to us?
Cargo. No.
Cut this out.
It's something.
I'm sorry.
Aircraft carrier. All we had to do was think of what it did.
I was trying.
An aircraft carrier. Because I feel like they were, doing more than they're doing physically.
Yeah.
Because they're like, and then I love the end where they go.
Oh my God. I would fall right over. I would be so disoriented.
You don't know how big those things are.
I would still know that I can't get on a cruise ship. I would be like.
You falling over on that would be the equivalent of like you falling into Mason Mill Lake right now.
Okay. I probably would if I got too close to it. You have seen me fall everywhere.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's you to the edge of this aircraft carrier. It's like a city. It's like a city on the ocean.
Well, I didn't say I'd fall off. I would fall over.
Oh, well, you fall over on dry land.
I would be so disoriented. Well, that's what I was saying. Flaggers, the people.
Flagger force.
Flagger force. You're driving, and I always, you don't get them much, but sometimes you get people who are dancing or they're doing something funner.
Yeah, more fun. Aircraft carriers or traffic controllers. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
They don't want to thank you. They want good pay. They want unions. They want respect.
Have they ever gone on strike?
Less working hours. Yeah.
I feel like I remember a strike that they did.
I mean, I think you're talking Reagan era, but.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Was it? I feel it was that long ago.
Makes sense. Well, whatever they did worked because now the entire world knows how stressful. You can imagine, right?
True. Yeah, because it was
planes are relatively recent,
and it was probably harder then.
Yeah,
because we have more computers. Yeah.
Now the planes fly themselves up into the plane, but the history of planes is relatively recent, right? 1920, the first plane went up.
Mm-hmm.
So I can imagine in quick succession there was these workers that were like, we are getting so stressed. Meanwhile, 1960s America was like, you can fly to New York in 6 hours, and so they were like, no.
Yeah.
And now we're all like, most stressful job, but they don't kill themselves.
I'm sure there's some air traffic controllers kill themselves. God bless. It's International Credit Union Day.
What is a credit union?
A credit union's better than a bank.
Police and fire credit union.
Okay, that's one example of a credit union. Credit unions, it's in America. I don't know about other countries. So it's better than a bank because it's nonprofit and it's owned by the people who, like you know, one of those kind of things where you all own it, even though.
So when you go to Bank of America,
yeah,
and you give them money,
right?
They spend it, they throw it around,
yeah,
they laugh and have joy, and then you ask for it back, and they're like, "Sure." And you're like, "Any interest?" You're like, "No."
Yeah.
This is like everyone's putting $100 in, and then it's just sitting there, and then they can all share this.
I don't know how it works. Go on mycreditunion.gov, Gov. That's going to be an American government site. So you know you're not going to. It's not like selling something for a particular credit union. They'll tell you what the credit union is, and they also have My Credit Union. No, not my a credit union locator.
Yeah,
you can click and see. Now, don't be intimidated by credit unions. When I grew up, I would hear of credit unions, but like what you just said, because I knew a lot of police and fire credit union, and I knew you had to be a police or fireman
or related
or whatever, you know, to go there. And it's like, okay, well, I can't go there.
So then you think every credit union is special.
So I thought everyone was
you got to be part of something.
Exclusive. There's a Ukrainian credit union right by us. You do have to have relatives or be you or work. There's lots of places that are Ukrainian like affiliated around us. If you work there, you can go there.
Yeah.
Okay. Freedom Credit Union, which we did belong to at one point.
I don't.
You don't need to be in anything except I just walked in and opened an account, and they do give you better, like you said, interest and less fees, and so they are. You can't. Okay, so just go find a credit union because you'll probably do better than a Chase or a BOA.
If there was ever a day to do it, it would be today.
Yeah.
On Freedom Credit Union Day, or just Credit Union Day. That was a shout out
to have your freedom.
All right, let's get right into it. We've been talking about a lot, except for what's important, and that's the fact that it is Walk Through Thursday, the best day of our week, our short 3-day week. Let's roll the intro and get started.
Welcome back. Hope you're having fun, 'cause Walk Through Wednesday just begun.
What is going on, guys? It is Walk Through Thursday. You know the deal. Walk Through Thursday is the day we open up the Bible. And there's always we always bring up religious things here on Wednesdays and Fridays and whatever days, but Walk Through Thursday is really the day that we sit down and look at it. And once the Bible is open, we pick a verse from a book and we look at that specific verse and talk about it. As much as us as Christians, our particular interest as Christians is the overarching themes and how we're all connected. You don't really need to nitpick. Doesn't mean that nitpicking is not good, you know? There's a lot of importance in each and every word of the Bible. We just like to remind people it's about the overarching themes. So today's the day we put one verse on the pedestal and we break it down, chop it down, and we go through it sentence by sentence, line by line, word by word, letter by letter, syllable by syllable. So without further ado, we are reading out of a book we haven't read before, and we've done a lot of Walk Through Thursdays. Check out the playlist. The book of Ezra. You heard it right. Ezra. Old Testament. Ezra.
I like that name.
Ezra? Mm-hmm. Would you name a kid Ezra?
Yeah.
I think they would think your kid was Jewish, which wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
But I think it sounds like a pretty Jewish name. Yeah,
I'm sure. It just depends. Like Noah used to be very Jewish, and now it's extremely
Daniel,
secular.
And any Old Testament name, really. Mm-hmm. Samson.
Daniel is Old Testament?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel and the Lion's Den.
That's interesting.
What else? Abraham. Old Abe.
Mm-hmm. You don't hear many Moseses.
Moses. Do you know that crazy girl?
Is that great to say?
She Avalon used to watch her. She's blonde and just like crazy, like high energy.
No.
Yeah, you do.
Watch her.
She has like a super Valley Girl. Like you'll know when I say it. Her fiance is named Moses.
I think. They're
from Israel.
What's the man from Coldplay? Chris?
I wouldn't know.
I would. He married Gwyneth Paltrow, and I think their child's name is Moses. And the daughter's Apple and the son is Moses, I think. But anyway.
Our dog's Apple.
Let's do Ezra.
So we're reading Ezra 2:28, 22 to 23. 22 and 23, two of my favorite numbers.
Oh, yeah. Good thing you didn't eliminate them.
I know. That would have been really awkward if I said 22 was the worst number. All right. We're reading out of NIV. Let's get started. I was ashamed to ask the king for soldiers and horsemen to protect us from enemies on the road, because we had told the king, the gracious hand of our God is on everyone who looks to him, but his great anger is against all who forsake him. So we fasted and petitioned our God about this, and he answered our prayer. Okay.
So the backstory.
Backstory.
Ezra is a priest. He's from the line of Aaron. And Ezra is on a journey in Ezra 8. King Artaxerxes, I think.
Sounds about right.
He has financed Ezra. And much like Christopher Columbus was financed by
the Spanish or the Portuguese king and queen.
Yeah, I think it was Spain.
Spain.
Isabella. And why? Because the king noticed that the hand of God was on Ezra, and so he was like, far be it from me to do anything that would anger that God of yours, because I don't want him to hurt me or my sons. Yeah. Not that he had been threatened with it, but he just felt like if he didn't do anything he could to help Ezra, that he would not do well.
Yeah, like sort of like the wife of Pontius Pilate. When she was like, she was like, I don't think you should kill him. I mean, she did have a dream and all, but it wasn't like so much that she said, I'm a Christian now. It was saying, I think he's the real deal. Let's just not.
Yeah, you tell that story more than other people.
Pontius Pilate's wife?
Nobody tells that story.
I think it's an important story to be.
I like it, but I'm just letting you know that. Okay, so Ezra, he's a teacher. He's well versed in the law of Moses. And God grants him everything he has asked for. So anyway, what I already said, the king of Persia is saying to Ezra, sure, you know what, go. Let me give you a letter. So he has a letter drawn up, and the letter says to the town he's going to, don't kill these people, because it's not just going to be Ezra. It's a large amount of people. Don't kill them. Take care of them. Don't even tax them. And the king also gives him tons of like fortune, I want to say, like gold and gifts to give
war money.
Yeah, to take and give, because it's all about the altar of God and like setting it up and not being attacked and everything like this. And then he said the king said to Ezra, whatever's left after you do what the priest stuff is supposed to do, you can have the rest of the money. Okay. And so
money to the cause. Mm-hmm. Is that the whole backstory?
Do you have any questions? Maybe I
have questions.
Okay.
So I can start talking about this, but my confusion is about what did God answer?
Oh, you're saying, so you want not the backstory, but you want the forward.
Story.
Yeah. Forward, it goes fine.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So he didn't need the soldiers and horsemen to protect them from enemies.
Right. So he's out there now. He's left King Xerxes, Artaxerxes, whatever, and he has the stuff. He has the agreement. He has the letter. He has all the people. When he gets close, he's like, oh, this is kind of frightening.
Yeah.
He wants to send word back to Artaxerxes and say, can you send me some people and horses?
And then Artaxerxes is going to be like, I thought God was with you.
So Ezra has to calm down, keep to the plan. And Ezra instead, he turns to all his men, his priestly men, and he gives them all the fortune. He gives them the letter, and he says, fine, go forward to the town. Butter them up before we get there. So, and they did, and it was accepted, and they went forward.
Oh, okay.
So this is his moment of worry and knowing that if he could get military help from.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now it reminds me of what did we just talk about? what was the Bible verse we were talking about, and we kept comparing it to I love
The
you.
lamb? No, not the lamb. The
fleece.
The fleece, yeah.
The fleece. So
give me a sign.
yeah. So this is sort of like what we were saying about that. We were talking about the Bible. Gideon, who wanted a message from God to go and do his thing. God gave him the message, made the fleece wet, ground not wet, and then did his thing. And then he's like, I need another message, make the ground wet and the fleece not wet. And it was always that like doubling down. And like, I need another message. I need proof. And so this is one of those positions where it was, he got that afterthought of, oh, is God really with me? And you see this often in the Bible, which I like. Mm-hmm. I like it because once again, us as humans looking at the Bible, you don't want to too much think like, oh, it's pretty clear that God's with me. You know, like there will be these doubts, there will be these uncertainties, even when Artaxerxes believes God's with you and you believe it and your men believe it. There will be points where it's like, well, now you're standing here at the gates of what you're about to walk into, and you're like, where's my fleece? Because I need to make sure it's wet. Or maybe I should have taken the earthly approach to trying to get this done. And all of these things go back to that testing of faith, mm-hmm. and that like keeping to your original belief. Like, and that's why they call it a leap of faith. You know, the leap of faith is when you jump into the smoke and believe that there's water at the bottom. But I think it's an important story to.
Well, what do you think about the third word, which is I was ashamed to ask the king because of what I had already told him. So is he taking a leap of faith with confidence in God, or is he like, I will be too embarrassed to?
I'm glad you brought that up and that's why I asked for the after story.
Okay. Because
I did have that thought as well, where I'm like, my original whole take on this would have been, don't be the guy who's swimming in the ocean and tells the boat, I don't need your help because God's going to save me.
Right.
And it's like, there's a fine line between God's power and earthly doors that are opened by God by his power. You know, why did we said, oh, Artaxerxes didn't really, he just thought, oh, this guy seems like he has God with him. Mm-hmm. I don't want anything bad to happen. But that also could have been, the Holy Spirit entering him and stuff. And so that's how God works, through people. So you should, I don't think you should be ever ashamed of saying, like, God's going to bless me with finance so I can feed my family, and then be too embarrassed or too ashamed to ask your boss for a raise because you're like, you're walking around the office saying, God's going to give me the finance I need. Right. And you're like, I don't want to tell my boss. He's going to be like, I thought God was going to do it. And it's like, well, God works through people. He'll fill your boss's heart with a little compassion the day you ask him and things like that.
Yeah, because he had already, he had asked, right? He asked him for the letter. He asked him for the gold. He asked him for the permission to leave. Are you going to chase after us? So, yeah, there comes a point when you have to stop with the trying to get all the insurance policies and just. Well, so yeah, so I think it wasn't reckless, right?
No. So I think with this verse, you have 22 and 23 together, so I'm going to put them together. I think it fits both points. So we fasted and petitioned our God about this, and he answered our prayer, right?
All right, so he did do more.
Yeah, so it's like that with that personal relationship with God. And no, he shouldn't have been ashamed to ask for the soldiers and the men, but the 23rd verse is not saying, but I remembered that God's with me. It was, you spoke to God. It's this active relationship. And, we don't have 24 here, but I'm sure God said, you're fine. I'm still with you.
Right.
You don't need to go back.
Right.
Either thing would have been okay. You know what I mean? Like if you have this relationship with God, it is that personal relationship to either say, accept the help, like you need it, or no, you don't need it. Keep your faith. Like,
Yeah.
That's the
As
point.
you
Yeah.
just walked it through right that second,
Kind of skipped it, but skipped around a bit.
you walked all over it.
I did the old.
It gave me
two-step.
another part of it, which is we always need God. So Artaxerxes had fortified this Ezra with the finances and the connections and the approval, but yeah, you're right. Verse 23, he still needs God.
Yeah.
So even if you have all the connections and all the money and all of the assurances, you should still connect with God on it.
And that I guess in a way, just to finish up, it goes a little into a area of what do we need God for, and that's for what's inside of us, our personal selves. So King Artaxerxes gave him all the earthly things he needed. But there's one thing that doesn't matter how much of that you have, that can fix. And that's what's in your heart, what's in your brain, this uncertainty, this anxiety, this being ashamed.
Yeah.
And so he didn't want to go back. Why? Because going back, it wouldn't have fixed what really needed fixing, which was his uncertainty. He could keep getting more men. The uncertainty will never fix, right?
Right.
You can always get, and it's like money, right? Like if you're always like chasing money, that's fine, but that will never fix. That's why they say money can't buy happiness.
Yeah.
And soldiers and horsemen can't give happiness or give certainty.
Yeah.
So he had everything earthly to win the war, but the one thing that still needed to be done was his uncertainty needed to be fixed.
Right.
Going back for horsemen and soldiers wouldn't have done that. But instead he fasted and petitioned to God, and God answered his prayers.
Right.
So now King Xerxes handled the earthly part, God handled the spiritual part, and they just went on fine.
They did. It ended well.
It ended well. It is a happy ending, not like all the books in the Old Testament. That is our walkthrough Thursday. Thank you for coming. Hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. If you're an air traffic controller, keep on flying those planes in. If you're what's the first holiday?
Credit union.
If you're looking for a new credit card building, credit unions are always there. Peace.